it was a cracker of a Grand Prix last weekend when we had MLA and Beast has collide on the opening lap of the Belgian Grand Prix with interchanging conditions. I mean, that definitely showed the pace of Sean, who took victory last time out. However, he looks to rebound from that and take victory once more to get himself back inside the championship. We do start out with 12 minutes to go at the start. We do now have 10 minutes. A little late on that, but we have many drivers out already. Mally is having problems staying in the lobby, which is a little bit of a disappointment. Hopefully, they're able to stay in the lobby and set a lap time. Yes, we have 16 drivers today competing in the Italian Grand Prix. And again, like we said, it looks to be sunny right now. Hopefully it stays that way during the race, unless if we have interchanging conditions once more. I know Italy is always a fun track to be at. I've always experienced fantastic racing at this track no matter what conditions you're in, so I think we'll be in for a good Grand Prix. But right now, as we do have a little bit of downtime before someone sets a lap time, why don't we go over the track facts now so I don't forget. So the modern Grand Prix circuit, which we have been using since 2000, earlier before, there were 2 chicanes. The first chicane is in turn number 1. It was a different format back then, but from the modern Grand Prix circuit from 2000 and on, hold on a second, that is Cobblers. Cobblers is out. He's crashed at the exit of Ascari, down the last straightaway towards Parabolica, and he finds himself out of qualifying without setting a lap time. Though, as the green and yellow flags wave in the background, notifying drivers to slow down and continue their pace. But like I said, talking about the track facts, obviously the track is made with asphalt, but it is 5.7 kilometers long, or 3.6 miles long. It has 11 corners, and the fastest lap record has been held by Rubens Barrichello in 2004 in his Ferrari with a 1:21 flat. That is a race lap record that he was able to set that year in the Italian Grand Prix. Most likely drivers will be smashing that lap time. Now we have 15 drivers left to set a lap time in qualifying, but none of them have set a time. Nick, do you have any predictions? Most likely mine is just going to have Beast has, or either one of the Mercedes drivers towards the front today.
Well, it looks like drivers are already struggling with traction or losing the rear of the car on some of the exit of the corners. We've just lost Jaws, so we've lost a Red Bull driver and a Renault so far. I believe that is just after the second chicane, possibly, or I can't actually see. Just after the second chicane. So drivers already struggling a little bit. Big welcome to Black Mamba. He just sets the quickest lap so far in today's race. He is racing for the first time at F1 TS Hub, so big welcome to him on his debut. Welcome back to Dan as well. He's in the McLaren now instead of the Sauber, so we'll see what he can do. D90, the only driver currently on the soft tyre, but he's bailed and he's come back into the pits, so that'll be interesting just to see whether he switches over to the super soft, which is the preferred strategy from every other driver. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting one, Alan. We'll see come the race whether it's going to have any wet weather racing. Monza often provides some changeable conditions, but we'll have to see as James Slater goes quickest. And Alan, last race of the European season for us at F1 TS Hub. What do you make about that?
Well, I mean, I'll have to say this. Usually the track schedule, I mean, it starts up pretty well the mid-season when we're in the European tracks. I mean, some of them have been around for a long time, which I really love. You go to the Belgian Grand Prix, I love that track. You come here, I love this track. Even, you know, back in 2016, you go to the German Grand Prix. I like that track too. Once you kick off, you know, sort of the Asian tour, I would sort of say, when you step outside of Europe with the new tracks made by Tilt, I mean, it sort of changes the atmosphere. You definitely have to look at it. I mean, these are more modern and new tracks that aren't really natural, that aren't really, you know, paved the way. I mean, because you look at Spa, that track was basically built off of roads. When that track originally was a lot longer than it would have, and then you added in, you know, second and third sector with the either the S's or, you know, the corner without any names, or then, you know, down Puan, the left-hander flying throughout, and then you go to this track, which is really, I mean, you know, shaped like a boo. I mean, these tracks are unique. And then once you step outside, you exit the European tour, and then you go into, you know, other atmosphere. It definitely changes for the drivers. I mean, not only the atmosphere, but the racing skill as well. because with long straights, I mean, those setups definitely do come in handy, but when you exit outside, there's lots of twists and turns, and some of the new tracks, I mean, after this race, we head to Singapore, which is a street circuit. After that, we head to Malaysia, which is, you know, on the same island, believe it or not. But like we said, those are sort of new tracks. Malaysia, I mean, isn't really new. It came out in 1999, and Singapore 2008. So, I mean, they've been around for a while, but I mean, it still feels sort of new. And those tracks are really tricky. I mean, this track is as well. But there's different circumstances that each track has. But again, we'll see how, you know, it feels for the driver, because that definitely is a key factor in, you know, the championship. Speaking about the championship, the man in second place overall in standings, MLA, he sets a time to take the fastest lap time overall in qualifying. He does that by around half of a second over James Slater.
Yeah, it's a tricky here because you want to set your car up to obviously have some nice straight line speed, lots of straights here. Louis gets he's on his flying lap now. We've got a lot of drivers out there who haven't actually set a time. We're just counting down to 5 minutes left of the session, and we've only got 5 drivers who have actually set a flying lap time. So perhaps some drivers struggling with the chicanes or having a little cut. As yeah, Louis comes into the pit now as well. So we're under 5 minutes, and we've only got a handful of drivers who have actually set a lap time. So D90's back out on his soft tires, and Beastas is out as well, our championship leader. So we'll keep an eye on what pace he can do. He's always, you know, going to be near the top of the field in terms of his pace, and he's doing a great job so far this season. It's his first one at F1 TS Hub, and he's really grabbing it by both hands, leading this championship. Alan, we've got just over 4 minutes left. What do you make of this? Only 5 drivers setting a lap time.
I think it's a waiting game. You don't usually see it here, because most of the time the drivers usually go out and set a lap time. But then again, you have drivers in the pits originally. They saw Jor and they saw Cobblers. They're like, okay, might as well stay out, watch these drivers go on, put some rubber out there when they're setting in those lap times, the banker laps. However, most drivers, I mean, Italy isn't really a track where you'd go for a banker lap, to be completely honest. I mean, Beast has smashing that lap time against MLA. That is a 120.1, and that puts him at the top of the board. But like you're saying, it's just really lots of straights, a couple chicanes, Ascari, and Parabolica. That's really all this track is. So, I mean, there's not much to it. I mean, it is very unique. It has a lot of characteristics, but, you know, the Italian Grand Prix isn't really a track that you have to go out and set a banker lap for. Because, I mean, if you go to a track like Singapore or Malaysia, that is very complex for the driver. I mean, yeah, you'd rather have a backup plan just in case if something goes wrong. But, I mean, for this track, there's not much to it. I mean, also you have the 2 Lesmos, which Beast is going through right now. But again, I would just say it's a short lap time, one of the smallest tracks on the schedule, one of the, I don't want to be wrong, but I know it's one of the smallest tracks on the schedule. So, I mean, drivers aren't really, you know, being conservative as you would think. They're just going to go out there and set one single lap time on the board. And speaking of lap time, I'm just shocked to see D90, the only one on soft tires out of everyone else. Do you have a reason why that could be?
I'm not sure. Perhaps he's just trying something different. He's coming to the pits now, so they're always going to be close to get in the garage and get back out again. I don't think he's actually going to have enough time. But definitely this is going to be a busy end to the session for us, Alan, to try and commentate on everyone as they come across the line. Beast House leads the way. I don't think he's in the pits again. I don't think he'll be able to get back out. So this will be some final runs for all these guys and girl. I was just riding on board with Sophie earlier, and great helmet. I really like her helmet she had on, the black and white there in the Sauber. So well done to her. She had a good result last week and actually won driver of the day. So well done to Rowboat Sophie. Louis, our pole sitter last week, is also in the pits. We'll expect him to come out very shortly, and all these guys and girl are going to be going for one last flying run, which is going to be pretty exciting to see when the pressure's on, Alan, who can deliver.
Yes, it will be a question to look at. Who will be able to prevail here in the Italian Grand Prix? We have 1.5 minutes remaining. Beastaz is in the pits, so he's calling it a day. There's no way he can get back out there and set a lap time, unless he cuts every corner. Cliffy slides in second. Beastaz retires. Yeah, Cliffy does end up going second fastest by 4/10, a little less than a half a second. second or third place is MLA. He's going through the second Lesmo as we speak, and down the straight he goes, and he'll be able to set one final lap time on the board. However, it'll be a matter of time if this is the one to beat Cliffy and Beast has. Next, you have the Sauber in fourth place, down by almost a full second. He is looking to gain back some time as he heads to his final run in qualifying. He has 50 seconds left to come back to the line. It's one more lap. That's what he's trying to do right now. We will see if that happens. Next, you have James Slater in fifth, and he is 1.1 seconds behind the Sauber, and he is looking to slide into the podium group in qualifying. Like we said, Beast has called it quits in qualifying, so he will not be setting a lap time, but you can see others like Cliffy and MLA. They are out on the track, and they will be setting at least one more lap time. So the Sauber crosses the line with 18 seconds remaining. As he actually slows it down, so actually I think he just finished his lap. And believe it or not, he stands fifth with no improvement. So we look through the grid, and D90 will retire from the session. So he'll be satisfied with that lap time of 9th place. Looking at the rest of the drivers, they need to finish their final lap time. Gonna look through the board. T.S. Odoms, like we said, has moved in at second. He's beaten his teammate Cliffy by barely. Cliffy crosses the line, will not improve. MLA, however, he is approaching Ascari for the last sector of this track. Nice and easily, no cutting any corners. Gonna get a nice flow off the exit of Ascari. Beautiful time. And we will see if he's able to prevail against Cliffy, Odoms, and Beast has. That is the question we have. And for the time being, through Parabolica goes MLA. It'll be a question to see if he can take pole position and up to 8th gear, maxing it out across the line. MLA into second place by 0.07 of a second. Not close enough to Beast has. Odoms will come across the line. Let's see if he improves. No improvement for him. A couple other drivers such as James Slater, Robo Sophie, and the Williams driver.
Sean's retired from the session, Alan. He just got across the line with 4 seconds to spare, and he's obviously he's run out of fuel now, so perhaps he just completely ran out or he messed up his lap. But our winner last week's going to be starting in last place for tonight's race. The only driver left to set a lap time is Sophie, and she's coming into the pits. So Alan, we've got five drivers who haven't actually set a lap time in this session. Do you think perhaps they just, struggle to get some clean air, or just maybe struggle to
I think they struggled to get a clean lap in. I mean, you've seen 3-4 drivers crash out in qualifying, so most likely they could have been preoccupied looking out. Could have looking at the gauges, looking at the track. They could have been looking at cars in front or back of them. Next thing you know, they're spinning the car through the grass. But that is qualifying done and complete. Beast has on pole. In second place is MLA, third Odoms, fourth Cliffy, fifth James, sixth Lee, seventh Black, eighth Sam, ninth Robo, 10th Cloudy Balloons, 11th will be D90, 12th Dan, 13th Jor, 14th SBL, 15th Cobblers. I did not finish the grid. I think the last person was Sean. Yeah, Sean. So that will do it for qualifying. Any last thoughts, comments, anything else, put it down below before we start today's Grand Prix. However, I'm looking out. It's looking overcast. I'm not sure if there'll be rain, but it looks very likely. We could see it once again in the Italian Grand Prix. So pull out your umbrellas, make sure you're ready. We may go rain racing today. It'll be a close one.
Yeah, I'm not biased at all in terms of the weather, but Alan, I'd love to see a bit of rain here just to spice things up even more. We saw last week how much some drivers struggled in Spa in the intermediate conditions, and especially through like Ascari and the two Lesmos, they'd really struggle with these low downforce setups on. But we might get our wish, we might not. We'll have to wait and see. But a decent qualifying. MLA just putting it on the front row next to Beast has just under a 10th behind him. So that was a good strong performance from him after a disappointing race last week. And you have to say, Alan, he needs to get into that first corner leading this race.
Yes, definitely. I mean, the pole position is very crucial in F1. And I mean, I'd like to say, pole position is better than starting last place, no matter who you are. But, just comparing there, a lot of people already being disqualified for making contact under formation lap. This gives us a good time to talk about the points. So Beastaz is in the points lead by 39 over MLA, and third is Sean. Fourth, I believe, is Cliffy. My page just closed, so now I'm just gonna, I think it's Cliffy in fourth, who's actually starting fourth in this Grand Prix also in the Haas. I believe Odoms is next. I'm not sure. Like I said, my points tab closed on me.
James Slater is next, Alan. Just separating the two Haas drivers of Cliffy and Odoms. Then you got Louis in 7th place. Dan is in 8th place. Sam is in 9th. Clifford's Red is in 10th. Jaws in 11th. Sophie's climbing her way up. She's in 12th position. Annika is in 13th. Then we've got Chris, who no longer races with the Ferrari team, in 14th. Cobbler's in 15th. Matt in 16th. SBL in 17th. Dan the Bluebird in 18th. D90 in 19th. And then you got Lawrence and Cloudy Balloons. Cloudy Balloons the only driver yet to score any points. He finished 11th last time out in his second race in the Pinnacle tier. We're in for a cracker here today, Alan, and I'd like to know some predictions from you. Obviously, you're always a fan of BSAS, and we both know what he can do on the track, but do you think he's going to have an easy ride today, or do you think some of the guys behind are going to make it difficult for him?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't say I'm a fan of him, but it's safe to say I can easily put money on it if I wanted to, and I'd be rich. I'll say that. If I wanted to bet on him, I think I'd do pretty well. But I'd have to say, I don't know. I mean, most of the time it's Beastaz, mainly because he has the pace. I mean, he got pole by a lot originally. That was with his banker lap as well that he set pole with, because that was the first time he was out. So again, I don't know. I mean, he's a safe bet to have, but remember, Beastaz, MLA, they collided last week, and they start on the front row with each other, and those are the two protagonists in this Season 10 championship. So I don't know, they may come together, or they may not. Maybe Beastaz will pull away. I don't know. It's up to the race and how it determines itself. But we are waiting for the lights to flick off and start. So Beastaz will be on the front row most likely. I mean, I'd put money on him, but I'm not going to say anything. I'd love to see who does it best here in the Italian Grand Prix in Monza. The 5 red lights are on our screen. We're back racing for round 13 in Monza, and we're green, and everybody off to a good start. However, look at that, MLA around the outside, back to the inside, and takes the lead easily off the start against Beastaz. He's able to grab the lead in turn 1, but diving to the inside, broken front wing flying off the chicane. Beastaz has dropped 1 position, and there is Odoms trying to chase down Beastaz, trying to go through Curva Grande. He's going to try and make a move down into the second chicane at this track. And hold on a second, I'm not sure if the Haas has lost his front. No, okay.
He has.
Look at my screen.
He has, Alan. He lost some front wing there. Him and Beastaz go side by side into second chicane. Doesn't work out. Yeah, he definitely lost front wing riding on board. We saw it on the broadcast view. He's definitely got front wing damage as that Haas of Odom's. Bit of a poor one from him. He was just so close coming around turn 3 and got a little bit too close for comfort. We haven't seen actually too many movements, Alan. Drivers have only gone up or down 2 or 3 positions, so no big losers or no big gainers, but the biggest one has got to be MLA. He leads this race. He needs to put in a strong performance here, Alan, and he needs to score more points than Beastaz, and he needs to win this race.
Pass for 9th place. That is Dan against Luis. And down the track, look in the background, 2 wide in the Parabolica. That is Dan with Luis and the Williams back to single file. Looking in the background, fastest lap for MLA. Good start for MLA, by the way. I mean, either a bad start for Beastaz or a good one for MLA. I don't know, but that was blistering start. But look in the front now. We have 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th all going at it. Side by side into turn number 1. Luis has fallen down many positions. Oh, the Williams gets ran wide, and Luis checks up, slows down SBL. SBL Malley has lost part of his front wing, and that is a left end plate gone for the McLaren Honda. Now in Curva Grande off the exit, single file, each for every one of them. On board with Luis, sticks to the back, and down to the inside, the Renault of Cobblers, and gets spun in the second chicane. That is Cobblers around.
Yeah, he's recovered now, Alan, but up to that point, I was going to say, these drivers are being so respectful through those slow chicane corners, because we weren't seeing any incidents. They were all giving each other room, even though they are very tight corners. and it has to be said, it's a great advertisement for some of the racing that we have here at F1 TS Hub. It's so close all the way throughout the field. Look at Sophie through Ascari. She's going to be right alongside, and she does. She gets past Louis, who's now down into 11th place. Wings, from what I hear, is running 6.6, which definitely is not going to suit this track. You've got Cloudy Balloons up in 8th position. Dan on his return is in 8th, sorry, Cloudy Balloons in 9th. Black Mamba on their debut is currently in 7th position. Meanwhile, MLA leads by only 0.6 of a second. And you've got the two behind, Odems and James Slater, just getting a little bit tasty into turn 1. Cliffy keeping an eye on what's happening in front of him. Louis passes Sophie again into turn 1, I believe. So Odems struggling with that front wing damage, and Beast has taken the fight till MLA.
Yep, Odoms has disconnected from the session. That is definitely going to hurt his chances of a podium today. He had a very strong car, even without a front wing. He was running really well, but already demoting all the way down into 8th position. So that's going to be a struggle for him to work back up. Also, the McLaren Honda of SBL Mali Kekik has exited the pits from, like I said, breaking his left end plate. So he will be back out on the track in last position. The charge for Sean, however, is actually a very good one. He's trying to pass 11th place of Robo Sophie at the moment. I think they'll be side by side. Is it? Nope. Sean backs out. There's an even better battle going up in front. That's a Williams and the Ferrari of Luis going at it off the exit of Ascari. Sean is up to 11th position after a terrible. Actually, that's because of Odoms. Never mind. Odoms is falling down like a rock. But like we're saying, Sean is trying to get by now for 10th place against Robo Sophie, so that promotes that promotes her up into the point-paying position. And now down the straight, it's going to be against Luis in Cloudy Balloons. Down the straight to the outside goes the Ferrari, just enough room to squeeze by. Dan going at it with the Sauber, his old team. You know, just passing, saying hello. I mean, nice to see you again. And the Ferrari hitting the Williams off once more. That's going to slow up the Mercedes around the outside. And it looks like Sean up to 9th position in just a matter of a couple laps. 4 laps in, starting 16th all the way up to 9th place, gaining 7 positions in 4 laps.
Alan, it's fantastic racing. Look at Black Mamba and Dan going at it side by side through a couple corners. They're so close, but they're not making any contact. It's absolutely fantastic racing. Exactly what we love to see. Sean's up to 9th position, as you mentioned, Alan, so he's doing a good job. He's got the pace in him in that Mercedes, and he's going to be finding his way through the field. Cloudy Balloon having some scraps. Sophie having some scraps. D90 hanging on in his Ferrari for a little bit of fun there. But, Alan, let's whoa, yeah, Cliffy has got James Slater. That's on the exit of Ascari, so that's not a corner you usually see someone pass, but he obviously got the traction down, got the power down, and that's job done. James Slater still running in 4th though, Alan. Good position for him at the moment. Sam in 5th as well. Dan's up to 6th position, back ahead of Black Mamba. So fantastic racing for those two. They've been going at it for a couple laps, back and forth. Then you've got Louis just behind, who's keeping a close eye on this. Sean now in 9th. Sophie right on the back. Here goes Sophie coming down into turn 1 on Cloudy Balloons. Is she going to make it stick? Late on the brakes, late. So ever they make slight contact. Keep it clean though. Keep it on the track and get a good exit. Is she going to try again now into a second chicane? We'll ride on board just to find out. You've got to be careful. D90's there just behind. And Alan, as soon as we actually get a breathing space, we might be able to run through who started on what tyre. The McLaren has a slide. It takes Dan. So Black Mamba and Dan going into the wall, off onto the gravel. Black Mamba recovers with a little bit of wing damage, perhaps a little bit of end plate damage. Jaw moves up, Cobbler moves up, so Dan's back down into 14th place and ruined what was a fantastic battle up until that point.
Yes, Black Mamba in 11th place has a broken right front end plate, so most likely he'll be going into the pits. Robo Sophie still in P9 with Luis. A 3-second penalty. Odom struggling to rejoin and stay in the lobby. D90 back in 10th place trying to catch down Robo Sophie, while Sophie's going to go out Cloudy Balloons for 8th place as we approach Parabolica, entering lap number 6 in this Grand Prix. And coming across the line, it'll be close between these two, and there goes Cloudy Balloons into the pits, along with Black Mumbai into the pits also. MLA still leads by almost 2 seconds. I mean, you got to say that pace is pretty good comparing or considering the fact that he's beating Beast has and creating the gap.
Yeah, Alan, and he did make a mistake, which he did go up to 2 seconds. I caught that earlier, but we were so busy on all the battles going up and down the field, I forgot to mention it. As Odems gets a spinning in the pit lane penalty. So he must have made a mistake, which means MLA got it up to 2 seconds on the second or third lap. So it's kind of hovering around there at the moment. Speaking of hovering, Sean is only a few tenths behind Louis, who are battling for 6th and 7th. Let's quickly run through who's on what tyre. We've got the top 6 all on the super soft tyre. Sean is started on the softs, Sophie's on the supers, D90's on the softs, Jaws on the mediums, Cobbler's, Cloudy and SBL are on the softs. Then you've got Black Mamba on the mediums, Dan on the softs, and Odems, who is in the pits, on the mediums. We'll also just quickly run through Force India. He was running in 5th place, Alan, and he's absolutely binned on the exit of Ascari. So what we were saying earlier, sometimes the traction can catch you out, and that's exactly what's happened to Sam, and he's out of this race. We've got Cloudy, SBL, Black Mamba, Dan and Odems, who have all pitted.
So believe it or not, I'm going to ride on board with Sean here. Hopefully you do too. Trying to chase down Luis for 5th place. Trying to look to the inside for moving in turn 1 very close, but decides not to. I'm going to say this. He told me to make a prediction. This is the only one I'm going to make. Right now, if you're on board with Sean, you're looking at the driver of the day. I mean, he's already gained 10 spots in 7 laps. One of them due to the retirement of Sam. Also, most likely about to pick up his 11th position of the race due to the fact that he's rapidly gained on Luis, and now he's struggling to get by him. But eventually, as we approach the pit stop phase, that should change in a matter of time.
Here come Cloudy Balloons and SBL. Side by side through turn 1, Alan. Gives him a little bit of a squeeze. You don't want to touch that sausage curb, otherwise you'll be on an angle. Dan's now retired from the session. He's come into the pits and called it a day, so Beastaz gets a penalty. So it's all happening, Alan.
Well, I was going to say the gap between MLA and Beastaz has increased by a couple tenths over the last lap, and now it just gets even worse for Beastaz. So I think I jinxed it before this thing, because I said it was pretty easy to make bets on Beastaz, and now it's not so likely.
You'd be losing money, Alan.
Yeah, I would be losing money, but hey, overall the race season, I'd still have a net gain, so that's something to look forward to. Going back to the field, however, again, Luis, Sean still going at it. I'm going to go back through the rest of the grid. No one else is really close to each other. I'd have to say the next battle we could eventually see is Sean and Luis. That's about it. Sean maxing out at gear number 8, getting so close to Luis, but not able to make the move. He's gained 10 spots today. He's trying to make number 11 on Luis. He's trying to get by him for P number 5, rewarding 10 points. So imagine how Sean would be doing if he did not start in last place. I mean, that'd be a good thing to imagine. I mean, he already has a pace of basically a Grand Prix winner. I'm going to look at the lap times a little bit. I mean, I know he's on the soft tires, and he's also in dirty air compared to everyone else who's on the super softs. Might as well. I just want to look at the fast times because, I mean, he's amazingly fast on those tires. Imagine what he'd be doing on the super softs. That is another question for another day. I'm going to change it to...
Alan I'm riding on board with him. Doesn't his car look so hooked up and grippy? I don't know if it's just the cars in front or perhaps on the supers losing a bit of grip at this stage in the race, but his car looks so hooked up, and he looks like he's got so much front end grip as Sophie gets the 3-second time penalty. And that Mercedes, as the one in first place, his teammate, they both look extremely hooked up around this Monza track.
I mean, for Sean, I'd be furious right now too, because I'm looking at the lap times. And, hold on a second, Clifty's into the pits. That is 11 positions gained for Sean. So Clifty's into the pits, first regular pit stop of the day. Like I was saying with Sean, I mean, I'd be disappointed if I were him. I mean, yes, he's on the soft tires. But, I mean, looking at the lap times, he's only around 4 or 5 tenths off MLA. And that's really the difference between super softs and softs. And he is the one, and MLA is the one pulling away from Beastaz. And he is the fastest, I mean, I wouldn't say the fastest one today. Beastaz has the fastest lap time, but he can't really keep it consistent. But, I mean, right now, MLA's the car to beat. First of all, he's leading the race. If Sean was able to produce the same thing on the same tire, he would basically, you know, him and his team would be going at it for the win if he set a lap time. So right now, I mean, I'd be furious, but you have to realize that the stuff he's doing right now is incredible. He's gained 11 positions, and he has 2 other cars in front of him that most likely he will overtake in the next couple of laps. And also, do bear in mind, that like you said, he's on the hard what they started on. So not only is he going to exit the pits on the super soft tires, he's going to be pushing through the field, you know, more than anyone else, because he's going to be the softer compound, he's got more grip, and he's going to go a lot faster than everyone else. Also, most likely, I'm going to say he's going to get fastest lap this race, because he'll be in clean air, because most likely everyone sets their fastest laps in the second stint, because you're in clean air, you're on new, fresh tires, ones that you did not qualify on. And if you start on a soft or harder compound, most likely you'll be guaranteed the fastest lap because you'll be on your softer tire in your prime of the race when your car is fastest. So with Sean, most likely he'll be getting the fastest lap as Beast has and James Slater are in the pits.
Yeah, we got Louis and Sean, the battle we've been following for a couple laps now. They caught up to James at the end of the last lap, and I think that gave Louis DRS down the main straight. So although Sean had a better exit, he couldn't actually do anything with it. But there you have it. MLA leads this race. Louis in second, Sean's in third, Sophie's up to fourth. She always does well, does Sophie. She always, the first half of the race, you always see her in the top six, managing her tires and managing that Sauber. D90's having a good race in fifth position. He needs to get some points on the board for that Ferrari team today. Jaws in seventh. He's had a few bad races, but he's doing a good job today as we ride on board still with Louis and Sean. They're so close, it's not worth it into Ascari. We've seen incidents in the past. It was mentioned in the steward's report. It's not the best place to overtake, even though there is a DRS. What about Parabolica? We saw it in the podium tier. Will we see it in the Pinnacle tier from Sean? He's going outside, inside. Louis covers him off. Great racing from these two. This is how to attack, and this is how to defend at its finest, Alan.
Yup, Luis is going to dive into the pit lane. So that
As
will
does
give
MLA.
time to Sean. Yep, MLA's in the pits as well. Sean takes the race lead in the Italian Grand Prix by lap number 11. MLA exits the pits, however, not far behind. Robo Sophie D90 slide in for second and third. It's going to be close between Beast has, but it is MLA still ahead of the Williams, but the gap has diminished, by ever so much. He's right behind him now, but he's still leading, but not by much in fourth place. Now we look at Sean, if he's able to stay out a lot longer. And, you know, just an FYI, in F1 TSUB, we have the safety car. In AOR, like I commentate, we don't have the safety car, so I'm not used to it. Imagine if we have a safety car, and around the same time Sean is about to pit, and he's leading the race. That would be something for Sean. That would be amazing, because that would give him the possibility to do a last to first challenge. And, you know, that'd be good for Mercedes. That basically puts him back in the front row of the grid of where he should have started in today's race. And, you know, puts him back in race contention. I mean, he already is in race contention, first of all. But, you know, despite the fact he's lost so much time in the first stint, chasing everyone down, passing them left and right and center. And now the fact that he's up front showing the pace. Imagine if a safety car comes out. By the way, I'm not sure if we'll see rain. I mentioned it before we started the race. It is still overcast. I barely see any blue patches in the sky. But like I was saying, I don't think we'll see any rain. I mean, we're 12 laps in and nothing has happened.
Alan, you've got an incident.
Spinning.
Yeah, that was himself and Jaw. They exited Ascari. He got such a better exit than Jaw. Went to go on the inside, and Jaw just pushed him on the grass. I caught that incident on the broadcast. And Cobblers has left the session, so he's really unhappy with his treatment there. And I have to say, Alan, that was a little bit naughty from Joe. He pushed him on the grass, and at that sort of speed, you can't really recover it as well as you'd like to. And before you know it, the Renault is out of the race. I'm sure the stewards will want to have a look at that one, because that was a little bit naughty from Joe. I don't really think there was any need for that. But what I was going to say is, look at Cliffy and Louis. They've had a few scraps in recent races. They find themselves separated by half a second. Sean currently leads. MLA is under pressure. No, sorry. Yeah, MLA isn't under pressure. D90 is under pressure from MLA. So D90, having not stopped, is about to be passed by D90. And job done in the braking zone from MLA. Just have to mention, Alan, you were talking about Sean and the Mercedes driver, and it was brought to our attention perhaps earlier in the week that he struggles at tracks which are set on strict corner cutting. For those of you who don't know, the stewards decide before each race whether the corner cut setting will be on regular or strict. Monza is on strict, and his teammate, I believe, is the one that said it, that he struggles on tracks that corner cutting isn't on regular. But today he's showing us some really consistent pace in that Mercedes, and he's on the slower tyre, and if he's able to eat this gap out a little bit more, perhaps he's going to be able to switch over to the super softs. He started on fresh tyres, so he's going to be going one of the longest in the race, and I'm really excited to see what Sean can do here, because this is a fantastic drive so far.
Cliffy gets by Jor. Oh, this is going to be a three-car battle between all of these. Around Curva Grande, around the outside against Jor and Cliffy. It's going to be a good battle right here. Cliffy's going to try and hang the inside as we approach the second chicane. And as we approach, Luis is just watching. Oh, he gets shoved wide by Jor. Oh, man, and now Jor gets a taste of his own medicine, gets ran wide. And actually, I think that was a mistake. Cliffy lets him back by. I think Cliffy didn't even know what Jor did to, you know, poor Cobblers as he left the session. But, I mean, I was going to say a taste of his own medicine, but now he finds the momentum back. He's going to have the inside. They'll be wheel to wheel as he approaches Scari. And DRS is available, like we said, on board with Cliffy. And he has cleared Jor. Now James Slater out of nowhere. Where did he come from? Runs himself off wide. He found just enough room. And I don't blame him. He saw room, so he tried to squeeze in. And as Ayrton Senna says, if you don't go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver. So, I mean, I definitely agree with that. By the way, battle third place, it is Beast has against D90. Clears him in turn 1 in the chicane. Beast has pulls away from D90 incredibly at the end of the first corner. I mean, wow, he got a lot of pace. I mean, before turn 1, he wasn't even, ahead of D90. And now Beast has, look at the gap, it's around half a second. So really, he has found the pace. He's picking it up, and he's trying to reel in MLA each second as he keeps running, I wouldn't say running wide, but loses the back end in nearly half the corners, you see. But you talk about Sean increasing the gap. If he was able to pull off that gap and increase it, he'd be able to do just fine. But however, it has went from 9 seconds to 7.6 in just 2 laps. And MLA, oh, it's going to be a matter of time before he gets by his own teammate, before he makes a pit stop. When will that be? I don't know, but we are at the halfway mark in this Grand Prix. So most possibly in the next couple of laps, Sean will be making his first pit stop in the race, while Cliffy flies by Luis. Slater goes by Jor for 7th place.
Yeah, Alan, it's fantastic. Fantastic. Sorry, just going to mention that Louis and Cliffy are having a good scrap, a fantastic scrap in the middle of this race. And James Slater and Joel there showing that you can get the job done before a Scari. You don't necessarily need to do it on the brakes. Getting a good exit from the second Lesmo is key. Just to mention, if Sean can take these tyres for another 2 laps, he'll be able to strap on those super softs and take it to the end of the race. And you have to say, not only will he get the fastest lap, not only will he be in contention for driver of the day, he's going to be in tension for definitely a podium, possibly even more here, Alan. I think this is a fantastic drive from Sean, and it's one of the drives of the season for me so far, putting in fantastic performance. He was in last place. He started the race in 16th place, and excuse me, he's currently in first position, 6.8 ahead of his teammate who has stopped. So yes, he's going to come out behind. Yes, he's going to have to do some overtaking, but yes, he has a quick car under him.
Yes, definitely. I mean, we are 15 laps in. MLA and Sean, you're right on board with MLA. You can sort of see him, a little tiny ant at the end, is sort of in the parabolica almost, coming off the exit now. Sean is staying out for another lap as he crosses the stripe for 16 laps done on those tires. And, I mean, you can sort of see blisters starting to form on those soft tires, maxing out at 8th gear all the way down to 2nd gear most likely as you approach the left. No, 3rd gear. However, loose back in just a tad bit. MLA, what will he do through the first chicane? Honestly, looks like the gap, he loses a 10th. I mean, he gets a lot of momentum off, but as he goes through, it's a slow entrance, but a fantastic exit. That's what you have to do. It's all about the exit speed. You slow down in the beginning, prep yourself for the exit, get a fantastic exit speed, and he was able to gain many tenths off the corner. I think that's something else that Sean has been lacking compared to his teammate, to compare a little bit. But again, now Sean opening up on the back straight.
Here comes SBL.
Sorry. SBL against Jor. It's going to be close, but SBL flies by around Curva Grande. And SBL around, but Jor looking, decides not to pass SBL as a terrible entrance and exit. still in 9th place. It actually looks like the 10th place of Robo Sophie closing on in to pass Jor. So it actually looks like points for Jor will be looming here today for the Red Bull driver.
Sean's in.
But, yep, Sean's in the pits.
So he's going to go onto the super soft tyres, and MLA is going to take the lead. Alan, in the podium tier earlier, we saw mostly all the drivers who weren't involved in an incident go straight from the supers to the mediums, and one stopped it. We're seeing a lot of drivers on the soft tyres in the Pinnacle tier, so contrasting tyre strategies from the two different tiers, both in dry weather, is pretty surprising. D90's come into pit, so he's followed Sean's strategy of this one, and that'll move Cliffy, excuse me, and MLA up, and D90 will put on some supers and see where it can take. We've also got SBL and Jor into the pits.
Whoa, Cliffy could have gone by Sean, but Sean ran him just enough wide to grab P3. Sean is still on the podium. Now the question is, 12 seconds behind Beastaz. Beastaz already has 3 seconds of penalties, so it really just diminishes the gap down to 9 seconds. So the question is, we have 11 laps to go. Will Sean be able to move up to second place? That is the question we have, 11 laps to go. Most likely, you're looking at the driver of the day right now is Sean, but he's not all satisfied. He wants more from that, and I don't blame him. He should have started either on the front row or in third. And now he's trying to fight back for his life as he is in third place, pulling away from Cliffy and many others and reeling in Beastaz. The gap is now 11 seconds.
I'm so excited, Alan. I think Sean's, as I said, put in one of the drives of the season. If he can take second place as well, make it a Mercedes 1-2, I think that's a pretty good achievement in the home of Ferrari. Of course, hello to everyone watching. We haven't even had time as we got yellow flags. Odems has retired from the session. What's happened to him? He's binned it on the second Lesmo. So just before the DRS zone, we've got yellow flags. The front right wheel is missing. And Odems has just shown you how difficult it is to get the power down on the exit of some of these corners, and the Haas driver's out the race. You mentioned a safety car earlier. Will we see one? Who knows? We'll have to wait and find out, but the job is still to be done from these drivers. Cloudy Balloon's in 9th as well, Alan. He's putting in a good performance in his third race at F1 TS Hub. Could he score his first points of his career? He's only got less than 10 laps to do it. But Sean, what a performance. This is one of the drives of the season for me. Starting last place on the slower compound tyre, picks his way through the field, and he's sitting in third place, as you mentioned, Alti. So he doesn't necessarily need to pass him, but I'm sure us and everyone watching would like to see just that if he can get close enough. Yeah, follow us at F1 TSL. We got live race updates as Cliffy now takes his turn to give himself a 3-second penalty. Louis will be happy if his race engineer tells him that. Make sure you hit the subscribe if you like what you're seeing. This is the Pinnacle tier. We're live every night from 9 PM, joined by myself and Alan, who always like to put on a good show for you guys. Head over to www.f1tshub.com if you fancy taking a look at our league and signing up. You can complete the registration form on the website. We, as I mentioned to you earlier, Alan, our waiting list is up to double figures, so we will try to get drivers seated as and when we can get spaces. But this has been a spectacle of a race, Alan.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a really good race. I looked through the grid, and the gap between Beastaz and Sean is now approaching 9 seconds. So he's already gained 2 seconds. SBL, Malikekik, fastest lap time in the McLaren Honda. He sits in P10 at the moment. We are 9 laps away from the finish in this race, and already almost down to 9 flat is Sean. So he is a man on a mission. Another penalty for Beastaz. 6 seconds now against 9, so the gap between Beastaz and Sean with a net gain would be 3 seconds between Beastaz and Sean. So as long as he gains 3 seconds till the end of the race, it will be a Mercedes 1-2 unless something happens to Sean or MLA. But now 20 out of 27. We approach 8 laps to go in the Italian Grand Prix. And yeah, I mean, we've seen clouds throughout the entire race. Nothing has happened. Question here, Sean passed his lap of 122.3. Fantastic lap time. Believe it or not, that's still not the fastest race lap record here at Monza. The fastest one, like I said, was a flat with Rubens Barrichello in 2004. But the question I have for you is, do you think it'll actually rain today? I mean, the clouds haven't been going away, and I don't know. That's just a question I have, because I don't think we will, but, I mean, the clouds aren't going away, so there's a good chance you may see rain towards the end of this thing.
Yeah, it's possible, Alan. As you mentioned, we're near the final third of the race, and I just don't think the clouds are there enough to perhaps bring us some rain as Cloudy Balloons takes his trip into the pits. So he will drop down the order and outside of the points, but you never know, he might be able to scrape himself back into a point scoring position. This race long battle between Cliffy and Louis has been absolutely fantastic. They've been within DRS zone mostly the whole race, and this is bragging rights and point scoring positions right here, but closest battle on the track at the moment. And no, I don't think we'll see any rain, Alan. I think it will stay away for this one. Last European race of the season. As we mentioned, we head to Singapore next week, one of my favorite tracks, and yeah, it's been a good season so far as Sean sets the fastest lap again. He's a man on a mission.
Yes, the gap between him and Beastaz is now, looks to be 6.8 seconds. So by the end of this thing, most likely he will have picked up second place from Beastaz. And not many times you get to say that, you know, Sean is faster than Beastaz, but I mean, it's a case against mediums versus super softs. But for Beastaz, he's just trying to hope that either Sean gets a penalty or he's able to find the pace in this last stint of the Grand Prix. But like we said, 7 laps to go. I'm going to go through the field. I think Luis is about to pass Cliffy. Actually, no, never mind. I think Cliffy just passed Luis because softs against mediums. Most likely Cliffy will be pulling away, but the gap between them is around half of a second. So those two were pretty close to each other for the past couple of laps and slowing down. Oh, never mind. There's some lag on my screen. I thought Luis was slowing down. But Luis staying within that half-second margin as he's pulled out DRS against Cliffy as we approach lap 22. And going up towards the front of this grid. It is MLA coming across the line for lap 22. And it is going to be 6 laps to go. And it's going to be a good finish between Beastaz and Sean.
Yeah, definitely, and just to mention, Sophie's just trying to claw her way into a DRS position with James Slater. That's the battle for 6th and 7th place at the moment, and she's done just that. She's just got 9 temps. But speaking of DRS, here we go down the main straight. Hello to everyone watching. We're about to see Louis versus Cliffy. This has been going on for a while, Alan, and although they're on different compounds, there doesn't seem to be much to split them. And I don't know if perhaps the DRS is keeping Louis there, or if Cliffy's just managing the pace a little bit at the moment, but they've been stuck together for a while, and here we are as they head into lap 22. We come round turn 3 into the second chicane, and I feel this is going to go right to the end as Sophie, yeah, she's in DRS, and she's closing in on James, so that'll be another good battle. Again, different tyre compounds. You've got such a mix of who's on what tyres, some on the super, some on the softs, and of course some on the mediums, so it'd be interesting to see who does what. But MLA did actually choose the soft tyre over the mediums when he went a couple laps longer, or 1 lap longer I think, than his championship rival Beastaz. And Sean obviously started on the softs from last place. He's made his way all the way up to 3rd, but with Beastaz having 2 penalties, him flying, and the gap coming down, I expect it to be a Mercedes 1-2.
Yes, should be very close. It is 4.7 seconds. And with Beastaz not knowing if Sean has penalties or not, by the time Sean catches Beastaz, I worded that wrong. Sean does not know Beastaz has any penalties unless he's watching the stream. So, do you think Sean will actually try and overtake on Beastaz? I mean, he has enough time just to pass him the last lap. Do you think he'll either try and pass or stay behind him and hope he has a penalty?
Well, I'll be impressed if he can watch the stream and race at the same time. But I would hope his engine. Listen to that. Yeah, he could possibly. I know he's in a party with MLA, so might be distracting for him, but hopefully Jeff's told him, but at the same time hopefully not, Alan, because we want to see some late braking and perhaps a lunge down the inside in maybe the last couple laps. We wouldn't want Jeff to deny us of that, definitely.
Yes. So lap 23, we approached lap number 24, coming to the end of this thing. I mean, it's been a very, very quick Grand Prix. I mean, I thought it'd be a lot longer, but I mean, the Italian Grand Prix, we are actually about to approach for a couple more minutes away until we're 1 hour into this stream. I'd say around 5-10 minutes. Very close, very, very close. But look up towards the front. It is still 9.5 seconds between Sean. He gains a second every lap out of Beastaz. Puts a bigger dent in that gap even more after everyone as he crosses the line once more. It is now 3.2. So with only just a couple laps to go, gap between Beastaz and Sean looking very good. Between Luis and Cliffy, however, it is 4/10. So maybe you could see a move for 4th place also. I'm not sure if either Luis or Cliffy has any penalties, but it is very likely. I'm also looking with Cloudy Balloons looking to pass Jor down the straight before as we approach Ascari. They'll be wheel to wheel, but backs out of it. Jor, 3-second penalty to avoid hitting the Williams of Cloudy Balloons.
Yeah, here we go. This is for the final point scoring position, Alan. We know, hearing that Cobblers is definitely not happy with Jor's move on him early in the race. That is the word in the chat at the moment, but there could be lag involved. We need to see Jor's view. Meanwhile, here we go. This is for 10th position. Cloudy yet to score a point. This is his 3rd race at F1 TS Hub, doing a solid job in the Williams at the moment. And here he goes. He wants his final point scoring position. Jor moves late to the inside. That's a cut right across the middle of the track. Can Cloudy hold it on the brakes around the outside? Jor doesn't give him room, just runs in completely wide. Some really aggressive driving from Jor today. I think he's going to get himself in trouble as Louis gets a 3-second penalty. That means they both got one. Cliffy and Louis both have one now, so they've got to decide it on track. Here goes. Cloudy's going to have the inside, cuts across into the braking zone, and Jor has to back out. Cloudy takes a position. Will he be able to sail off into the distance with those fresh tyres, Alan? I'm sure that's job done. Let's switch over to Louis. He's half a second as we come down the pit straight. He's really struggling. He just can't get close enough to try and lunge something down the inside of Cliffy. Look how late he is on the brake. Gets the car slowed down beautifully as he exits turn 2. They're going to head up to the 2nd chicane now, but Cliffy is just nailing his exit, doing everything he needs to do to keep that 4th place. What can Sean do? 2 seconds now. He can see the Williams. He can see the championship leader. MLA will be encouraging him on the team radio, saying, pass that Williams. Forget about the penalties for a second. We'll pretend they're not there. He's going to be saying, please get into 2nd place. I need all the points that I can. And this is fantastic racing all the way to the end right here at Monza.
Yeah, so I was going to say about Jor, he's been a very naughty boy, to say the least, against Jor. I mean, even going to Curva Grande when they were wheel-to-wheel with Cloudy Balloons, they were just beating and banging. I mean, you had a lot of room to give him, but you just decided to keep hitting him. I mean, it could have been lag involved, but Jor, I've seen him run many people off in turn 1 today. And like we said with the Cobblers incident, and then like we said with, you know, hitting a couple people in Curva Grande, and then turn 1, running a couple people wide when they try and go on his outside and pass him. So, I mean, Jor's been very aggressive, and obviously that switched back down the main straight to turn number 1. I mean, Jor's a very aggressive driver. We know that out of him. And it's nice to see that he puts a lot of action for the fans. But we approach the final 2 laps in this Grand Prix. And it's going to be a good finish between Beastaz and Sean. Riding on board with Sean, the gap is 1.5 seconds. Could put off the last lap pass if he gets close enough to him. We will see. Jor, 3-second penalty again. Another penalty he's gotten with the last couple of laps.
Yeah, here we go. This is a time. This is everything all of us as fans like to see watching. Here we go. Sean versus Beastaz. 1.4 seconds. Can he do it? He's going to have 1 lap to do it. I'm sure, as I mentioned, MLA will be saying go, go, go. And we're hoping, we're not biased, but we definitely want to see some last lap action between these 2 titans. Yeah, he gets 1 penalty, Alan.
It's okay. I mean, as long as he's within that 3-second margin, Sean will be able to pick up 2nd place. I don't think Sean has gotten another penalty in this race before.
No,
so
I haven't seen that.
Within 3 seconds, he'll be good. Yep, Sean will
he isn't going to get DRS though.
Seconds.
He isn't going to get DRS this time around. He's going to have to wait to perhaps, Alan, what do you reckon, that the second exit onto the possibly there, or even into the last corner parabolica on the last lap. I saw it happen earlier in the podium tier. It can be done, and there's a big smile on my face if you can't tell from my voice. I can't wait to see what's about to happen. What's Louis going to do? Is he going to sling something down the inside on the last lap or something? He just can't get close enough, but half a second is all that it is at the moment. Sophie's dropped off James, so that's a battle we won't see today. Sean gets a little bit of a tank slapper on the gravel, but here we go into both Lesmos. There's one down. Here's the DRS detection point. Here's the second Lesmo. Louis gets a penalty now. So I think that's his cause mostly gone. Here goes Sean. Does he know that BSAS has 2 penalties? He's got one himself as we head down into Ascari. He's going to think about it, but he's just not close enough. Alan, talk us through into the final Parabolica. Meanwhile, MLA is into Parabolica. He's going to cross the line to win.
Wide. BSAS has run wide. Down the backstretch for the final time. It's going to be between BSAS and Sean. Looking to the inside. MLA crosses the line to take victory, but here we go back to Sean. Sean's going to look to the inside. BSAS, last minute action, going to try and put on a fantastic exit across the line, looking to the inside, can't get any of it. Sean blocks once, blocks twice. Sean second, BSAS third, and a silver arrow 1-2 as MLA takes victory in Monza.
Look at Louis.
Good finish.
Is Louis going to have Cliffy here on the exit? Side by, look how close this is. Oh my goodness, Alan. That was so close. They crossed, literally kissing wheel to wheel. Fantastic stuff there. Louis got such a good exit, and we saw Sean and BSAS do the same thing, but Sean, I think, cut across there to end it, whereas Cliffy and Louis went side by side. Fantastic racing from those two. This is Sophie finishes in 7th place, D90 finishes in 8th, scores some points for the Ferrari team, good for him. SBL in the McLaren is going to come across the line in 9th position. And here we go, Cloudy Balloons, one more corner to go, and in his 3rd race he's going to score points. He'll be ecstatic with this. He was beating himself up a little bit after Spa, but lifts off, keep it together. He's happy, he's weaving already, Alan, and oh, he needs to be careful. He crosses the line to score points. BSAS out the session. He knows he just didn't have the race pace today. Here comes Naughty Boy Joe.
I was gonna say, Cloudy Balloons. I was hoping he wouldn't, retire right before he crosses the line, like the PSGL race the other day that I saw in F3. That was hilarious. But we come to this result, and it's been a very good one for Silver Arrow. They score a 1-2 today, with MLA taking victory, 2nd being Sean, 3rd being BSAS. And I was going to say, I assume was Cliffy and Luis. It was 1/1000th of a second. That was how close it was at the final corner of Parabolica. But spray champagne down on the fans. I mean, they may not be happy that none of the drivers that won were Italian or Ferrari didn't win, but hey, it was a good finish, and I would be happy too with that one. That wraps up the Italian Grand Prix here in Monza. Let's go over the finishing order very quickly. It is MLA, Sean, BSAS, Cliffy, Luis, James Slater, Robo, Sophie, D90, the McLaren of SBL, Mali Kekik, and rounding up the top 10 of points will be Cloudy Balloons. 11th will be Jor, yes, Jordan 11th. 12th will be the Renault of Cobblers. 13th will be the Haas of Odems. Yep, 14th will be the Sauber. I'm trying to remember because it says the
that's new boy Black Mamba, and then the other McLaren is going to be Dan, and the Force India is going to be Sam. Just quickly, and look at the penalties. A lot of drivers have penalties. Sean, BSAS, Cliffy, Louis, Sophie, D90, and I believe Jor as well. So well done to the drivers who didn't get penalties. Give them a quick shout out. That's MLA, James Slater, SBL, and Cloudy Balloons. So it's hard to do here with those chicanes. So easy to lock up the brakes or have a little mistake. But what a win from MLA. That's exactly what he needed after last week's race. And what better way to celebrate on the podium than to have your teammates standing next to you from last on the grid.
So that will do it as we wrap up the Italian Grand Prix at home. Thank you everybody so much for watching. First of all, I'd like to say my heart is going to say driver of the day, Sean. I know that the poll goes up for driver of the day. I'm just gonna say Sean. I think we all know who's won it. Yeah, I think we all know who's gonna win driver of the day here. But it's been a fun race to watch, and I'll be excited to be back here next week, Friday night, same place, same time, same channel, for the Singapore Grand Prix at the Marina Bay Street Circuit. So thank you everybody so much for watching. My name is Alan Cagnero. I'm alongside Nick. We will see you next week for the Singapore Grand Prix on the F1 TSM channel. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Have a safe night, everybody, and peace.